Demervius went fastest on a stage that suited his driving style. With Voldegaard out, he was now up to third and chasing down the leading pair. After a multitude of problems, Richard Göransson was again second fastest, the Swede's gravel driving improving with every stage mile. Blomqvist was fourth fastest after a gearbox change between stages, and the Porsche was back up to speed. After a win on the opening stage, Munster suffered from a rear brake problem and was forced to back off, setting the seventh fastest time. The scenery was breathtaking as the crews descended the Mbulu escarpment. It was a driver's dream with a smooth surface and endless corners and hairpins, all the while dropping several thousand feet. The roadbook simply said hairpins for 7 kilometres, giving the navigators a chance to look out of the window and enjoy the view. Demervius was the bravest of them all. Flinging the Porsche down the hill to set the fastest time, he would end the day third, only 2 minutes off the lead. Duncan was equally as committed, but couldn't match Demervius and was 26 seconds slower, the sound of the V8 echoing off the mountainside. Göransson showed that he was a fast learner and went third fastest. But between blistering times, there were the breakdowns, and he was still in 44th overall. Blomqvist was fourth fastest and once again fell behind Duncan into second overall. The pair were separated by just 15 seconds in what was becoming a fascinating battle. The biggest disappointment was reserved for Bernhard Munster. Having lost his rear brakes, he then punctured at the top and discovered his jack wouldn't go into its locating hole. He was forced to drive on the flat and dropped down to 12th overall. It had been a long day. The loss of the defending champion a sobering moment. The lead had changed twice and the crews had faced 250 kilometres of competitive stages. As they arrived at the rest halt, there was plenty to talk about. The fourth day took the crews back across the border into Kenya, but not before a long 116 kilometres from Monduli to Longido that would be a tough send-off from Tanzania. The second stage was equally long, as the crews got a taste of Kenyan roads before an 80-kilometre transport section took them to just outside the capital for a 2-kilometre spectator stage. A final 87-kilometre section south of Kajiado, then another 132-kilometre transport stage to Oltakai Lodge in the heart of Amboseli for the midpoint rest day. The first stage was not without its dramas. Stig Blomqvist was once again suffering from brake issues, which eventually caused him to go off, beating the car for over 6 minutes before getting going again. He was 14th fastest and dropped down to 3rd. We had a chance to catch up with the crews servicing beside the road at the end of the stage, a rare sight in modern-day rallying.
No, because I've had problem with brakes all the time, a bit big knockoff, and then when I came to the corner and brake, I had the deep pedals, I have to pump, and then I get too much rear brake, and then we spin and reverse off a bit and get stuck. So
Duncan should have taken over the lead, but punctured, losing 3 minutes and setting the 5th fastest time. He remained in 2nd overall.
Yeah, just another puncture. That's getting a bit boring. Shall we change the rear shocks as well?
We wanted to do them in the next.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter, but they're always on Amu's side. I don't know whether the shock is causing the puncture.
We were not prepared for it now.
Duncan's puncture meant the rally had a new leader, in the shape of Gregoire de Mervius. He was 2nd fastest, but it was enough to move into the lead for the first time on the event.
He went quick, and then we saw Stick was off the road, so we back off a bit, and then we have 20 k's from the finish, a bad feeling in the steering, so the steering is a bit damaged, so they're changing the steering now.
Bernard Munster was fourth fastest, another driver who could have been challenging for the lead if it weren't for mechanical issues with his Porsche.
Morning, Bernard.
Morning.
How was the first stage this week?
Okay.
Not so good. We had, well, after 30 kilometers we fell without rear brakes as the pipe came loose. So we had to continue with only front brakes, which is on a Porsche not a good thing. So I think we lose quite a lot of time, but we're there, so that's the most important thing.
Otherwise the car's alright, the stages are okay?
Yeah, the stages are very nice, but it's such a long and tough rally, so we need to be thinking we are still not at the half of the rally, so still a long way to go.
Thank you very much.
The crews crossed back into Kenya at the Namanga border crossing. They faced another 117-kilometre section before heading towards Athi River for the spectator stage. We caught up with the rally on the final stage of the day, the 87-kilometre Parana section. The rain that had eluded the rally so far finally arrived just in time for the first cars to enter the stage. Duncan was first in. He had suffered 3 punches on the previous stage and had been forced to drive out on a flat after running out of spares. He went third fastest and ended the day second overall. Baldiv Chaga took over the driving from Onka Rai, and the newly crowned Kenya champion set the fastest time on the stage, moving them into 6th overall. Jeff Bell also upped the pace, buoyed by his first stage win on the second stage. He would end the day in 5th after Demervius struck trouble. Demervius was once again struck by bad luck. A drive shaft broke on the second stage and he was stranded, dropping down to 15th. He was 11th fastest, but his bid for victory was over. So after 4 long days of rallying, the crews arrived at Oltakai Lodge in Amboseli National Park. The 5th day was classified as a rest day, although for the mechanics the morning at least would be frantic. Blomqvist led from Duncan in a seesaw battle that would become a tantalising duel.
Yeah. More punches since this morning, mate?
Yeah, just a few. I think 3 in the next section. We did 2 sections without a puncture. The special stage in 80k.
Yeah.
So that wasn't so bad.
The service park was alive with mechanics hard at work, trying to rebuild the cars for the second leg. The organisers had decided to reduce the service time to 1 p.m. to allow the mechanics a chance to relax, although some might have appreciated more time to work. As if the work wasn't hard enough, Mother Nature threw her own spanner in the works, and the mechanics were blessed with a heavy downpour to keep them cool. The start of the second leg, and with both vehicles and drivers refreshed, the action got underway, breaking the calm of early morning dawn in Amboseli. The 6th day took the crews from Amboseli north and down into the Great Rift Valley to Lake Naivasha. The first stage was a long 109 kilometres from the edge of the park, linking up with day 4's stage that ended at Bullseye. The final stage dropped the crews onto the Rift Valley floor to Mayer's Farm, before a transport section to the overnight halt at Lake Naivasha Sopa Lodge. The stage started off dry, but the rain soon came, and it got progressively trickier for the crews further back. Duncan was on the attack from the off, intent on taking the rally lead, and went fastest, a minute quicker than Blomqvist. It was enough to take back the lead by 10 seconds. Blomqvist was second fastest and with it moved into second overall. Being first on the road, he was perhaps caught off guard by Duncan's attack. Steve Perez went 8th fastest. The heavy rain was falling by the time he reached this point, which had been dry for the leaders. De Mervius was 3rd fastest, looking to regain a top 10 finish on the second leg. Marcy was happy with his position. Knowing on sheer pace he would not catch the pair in front, 4th fastest kept the chasing pack at bay. Bernard Munster was 5th fastest on the day's opener. Another driver desperate to recover positions and aiming for a top 10 result.
Yeah, good.
Car's going well.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Did you see Jeff Bell on the side of the road?
Yeah, he was with the bonnet open, so I don't know what. He must have a technical problem. What? I haven't.